The sleepover. When Mia got invited to her best friend's sleepover, she thought it would be a night of laughter, snacks, and scary movies. But sometime past midnight, when everyone was asleep, Mia woke to the sound of giggling coming from the closet. Only, all the girls were lying on the floor around her, fast asleep. Subscribe now, because this isn't the kind of sleepover anyone survives without scars. Mia had never been the popular girl at school. She was quiet, the kind of kid who always sat near the back of the classroom, doodling in her notebook while the louder kids made jokes. So when Lily, the most outgoing girl in their grade, invited her to a sleepover, Mia almost didn't believe it. "It'll be fun," Lily had said with a grin. "Snacks, movies, games. You have to come." Mia's parents were thrilled she was finally being social, and Mia herself felt a nervous excitement as she packed her overnight bag. She'd never been to a real sleepover before. Lily's house was big, old, and creaky. The kind of place that felt like it had too many rooms and too many shadows. But when Mia arrived, everything was bright and cheerful. 4 other girls were already there, sprawled on the living room floor with blankets, bowls of popcorn, and stacks of DVDs. For the first few hours, it was perfect. They painted nails, told secrets, and dared each other to eat ridiculous snack combinations. When the lights finally went out around midnight, the girls curled up in sleeping bags across the floor, whispering until one by one their voices faded into steady breathing. Mia lay awake longer than the others. The house felt strange in the dark, too quiet except for the faint groaning of the old wooden beams. She finally began to drift off, when a sound jolted her back. A giggle, high-pitched, playful, coming from the closet in the corner of the room. Mia blinked, heart pounding. She rolled over. The girls were all there, asleep. Lily, Anna, the twins, even quiet Sophie. Not one of them had moved. Another giggle. Louder this time. Mia's eyes locked on the closet door. It was open, just a crack. Mia's breath caught in her throat. She told herself it was nothing. Just the house settling, or maybe one of the girls laughing in her sleep. But deep down, she knew that wasn't it. The sound came again, not just a giggle this time, whispering, soft, sing-song words she couldn't quite make out. Her eyes stayed glued to the closet door. It was definitely open wider now. She was sure it hadn't been like that earlier. A faint draft of cold air brushed her face, carrying with it the smell of dust and something else. Something sour. Mia sat up slowly, careful not to wake the others. "Hello," she whispered, hating how shaky her voice sounded. The whispering stopped. For a few seconds, the room was silent. The only sound was the steady breathing of the other girls. Then, 2 pale fingers curled around the closet door frame. Mia froze. She wanted to scream, to wake Lily, to turn on a light, but her body wouldn't move. She watched in horror as the door inched open wider. The giggle came again, but this time it was lower, rougher, like someone trying to imitate a child. Mia's stomach turned to ice. Whatever was in that closet wasn't another girl from the sleepover. Mia's heartbeat thudded so loud she was afraid it would wake the others, or worse, draw the thing out faster. The closet door creaked, opening wider, and in the sliver of darkness she saw it. A face. Small, pale, with wide, unblinking eyes that gleamed in the faint glow of the nightlight. At first, Mia thought it was a doll. The skin looked too smooth, too waxy. But then its mouth stretched into a grin, teeth too sharp and too many for something human. "Mia," the whisper hissed her name. Her stomach dropped. She hadn't told anyone where she was sleeping. She scrambled backward in her sleeping bag, knocking into Sophie, who stirred but didn't wake. The thing giggled again, head tilting unnaturally far to the side, like its neck was made of rubber. Mia's eyes darted to Lily, who was closest to the closet. She wanted to scream, to drag her friend away, but her voice was stuck. The pale hand slid lower, fingers impossibly long, tapping the wooden floor like claws. Tap, tap, tap. The sound echoed through the room, louder than it should have been, and then, as if mocking her, the thing whispered again, this time using Lily's exact voice. "Don't tell." Mia's entire body trembled. That voice, it was perfectly Lily's, down to the playful tone she used earlier that night. But Lily was lying right there on the floor, fast asleep, her chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. The thing in the closet grinned wider. It leaned forward just enough for Mia to see more of its body. Thin, bony limbs folded wrong, like a spider crammed into too small a space. Its skin shimmered faintly, pale and slick, as though it had never seen sunlight. "Want to play?" it whispered, still in Lily's voice. Mia shook her head furiously, pressing her back against the wall. Her fingers dug into her blanket. She wanted to wake the others, but some deep instinct screamed at her, "Don't make a sound." The creature crawled an inch closer, joints cracking loudly with each movement. Its long arm slid out of the closet, reaching across the floor, fingers tapping in a rhythm. Tap, 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 like a knock at the door. Mia squeezed her eyes shut, praying it would stop. Silence. When she dared to open them again, the closet door was closed, completely shut. The only sound was the soft breathing of her friends. Mia wanted to believe she had imagined the whole thing, but her stomach churned with dread, because scratched into the wood of her sleeping bag, right next to her hand, were 3 deep grooves. Mia didn't sleep the rest of the night. She lay frozen in her sleeping bag, eyes fixed on the closet, every muscle in her body trembling with exhaustion and fear. When morning finally came, sunlight spilling across the room, the other girls woke up cheerful and groggy, laughing about who snored and who kicked in their sleep. Mia forced a smile, but her hands still shook as she rolled up her sleeping bag. She tried to hide the scratches, but Sophie noticed. "What's that?" Sophie asked, frowning at the grooves carved into the fabric. Mia's throat tightened. I don't know. Maybe the floor was rough." Lily snorted. "This floor's polished. Nothing could do that." Mia avoided their eyes. She wanted to tell them everything, to scream about the pale face, the whisper, the tapping fingers. But the words stuck, because deep down she was terrified the others wouldn't believe her. Or worse, they'd laugh. The girls packed up, and Mia's parents picked her up soon after. On the ride home, she pressed her face to the car window, trying to shake the memory. By the time she got home, she almost convinced herself it was just a nightmare. Until she went to unpack her overnight bag. Her clothes were fine. Her toothbrush was there. But at the very bottom of the bag, beneath everything else, lay something she hadn't packed. A single pale finger, cold, too long, and still twitching. Mia dropped the bag, stumbling back, a scream caught in her throat. The finger rolled onto the floor with a soft tap, 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 like it was mocking her. She slammed the bag shut and shoved it under her bed, heart pounding so loud it hurt. For days, she barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the pale face, the stretched grin, the closet door opening wider. At night, she swore she heard that same giggle echoing from somewhere inside her house. Soft at first, then closer. Her parents told her she was being silly, that nightmares were normal. But Mia knew better. The thing from Lily's closet hadn't stayed there. It had followed her, and it wanted to play. Sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't in the stories we tell at sleepovers. They're the ones that wait in silence, patient, until someone gives them a way out. If this story sent a shiver down your spine, hit subscribe, because the next one will make you afraid to open your own closet door.